Today, we are diving into a clash of epochs, really. We're talking about artificial intelligence and faith.
Right. And it's a world where you have this core paradox.
Exactly. On one hand, you have nearly half of all church leaders using sophisticated AI, but on the other, you have these online communities screaming that the very same technology is, well, the literal Antichrist.
And that's the reality we have to navigate for you. AI is clearly a valuable tool for ministry, but at the same time, it's being framed as this apocalyptic force.
And the debate is over, isn't it? It's not abstract anymore. Sources were indicating that by 2025, almost half of church leaders were already running their operations with AI.
That's adoption, not speculation. It's already here.
That is just a stunningly fast adoption rate. Okay, so let's unpack that first. What does this actually look like on the ground? In churches, mosques, synagogues.
It's surprisingly practical, highly utilitarian. Faith leaders are using it for everything from drafting newsletters.
I've even heard for preliminary sermons.
Oh, absolutely. For sermons, managing volunteer schedules, and something that's really crucial, accessibility. Think about AI-powered real-time translation.
So that's breaking down language barriers in a multilingual congregation.
Precisely. It allows people to worship together seamlessly, which is a huge deal. And then there's the safety aspect.
Right, using AI security systems.
Yes, to monitor spaces in these vulnerable houses of worship, but without losing that sense of hospitality.
It feels like this connects to a broader pattern. Religious communities have always adopted new tech, right? The printing press, radio, the internet.
It's the same historical arc. They've always used technology for spiritual purposes.
But I think here's the difference. Those older tools just amplified a human message.
Yeah.
AI feels like it's changing the messenger itself. And that's where you start to see the spiritual panic setting in.
It turns very sharply. You have this whole online ecosystem, particularly in some evangelical and conservative Christian circles, that frames AI as purely
as Antichrist technology.
That's the term. And what's fascinating is how specific the fear is. This narrative links things like deep fakes and biometric surveillance directly to biblical prophecies.
Prophecies about end times deception.
Exactly. The suggestion is that AI could be the very infrastructure of the beast. The digital mark that links your identity and your ability to buy and sell.
But this kind of panic has a history, doesn't it? We've seen this before.
We have.
I mean, similar apocalyptic suspicion was thrown at things that were just poorly understood, like electricity or the cinema or even credit cards. It seems to stem from a lack of technical understanding.
And the more theologically grounded responses really push back on that. They stress a crucial counterpoint. AI is a tool. It's a human-made tool.
A product of our own ingenuity.
Yeah.
Not some rival deity.
Right. It fundamentally lacks a spiritual dimension. It has no moral agency, no capacity for real human connection. It can write a flawless homily, sure, but it can't experience grace, and that's the distinction.
That is the core of it. So the real challenge isn't whether AI is good or evil.
Not at all.
It's entirely about how we as humans choose to build it and use it. And this has huge implications for younger generations, doesn't it?
It's profound. Misinformed fear risks alienating an entire generation of young people who are growing up with AI as just a normal part of life.
So you can't just label it evil and walk away.
You can't. And that means we need a continuous, robust dialogue. We need faith leaders talking to technologists, talking to policymakers, to guard against things like bias and dehumanization in these systems.
So the final takeaway here seems pretty clear. This pervasive fear of AI as Antichrist technology is really just a recurring historical pattern. It's what happens when we misunderstand new innovations.
The institution adapts it as a tool, while the fringe rejects it based on very old fears.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to think about.
If the primary theological consensus is that AI is just a powerful human tool, how can communities make sure their education is focused on teaching ethical stewardship and discernment, instead of just succumbing to spiritual panic?